Most people think they are free, free to choose, free to live, free to be whoever they want. But the Stoics would ask, are you truly free? Or are you simply following your desires like a slave obeys a master? Because if you cannot say no to your cravings, your pleasures, your impulses, then you are not free. You are owned by the very things you think you chose. True freedom, in the eyes of the Stoic, does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from not being ruled by what you want. This is a hard truth in a soft world. Modern society tells us to indulge, to chase what feels good, to never deny ourselves. Comfort is praised. Desire is marketed. We are taught to measure our lives by how much we have, how much we enjoy, how much we consume. But the Stoic sees through this illusion. He sees that every desire we indulge without discipline becomes a chain, subtle, invisible, but real. The man who must have coffee before speaking to anyone. The woman who needs validation from others to feel worthy. The person who cannot go a single day without scrolling for hours. These are not preferences. These are prisons. Epictetus put it bluntly. No man is free who is not master of himself. He wasn't trying to shame people. He was trying to liberate them. Because the greatest enemy of freedom is not some external tyrant. It is our own untrained mind, our own undisciplined desires. If you say you want peace, but cannot stop feeding your anxiety with noise and distraction, you are not free. If you say you want clarity, but constantly overindulge in pleasure, you are not free. And if you say you want strength, but run from every form of discomfort, you are not free. The Stoics believed in desire, but only when it was ordered, reasonable, aligned with virtue. They knew that not all desires are harmful, but all desires can become harmful if left unchecked. That's why they practiced self-restraint not as a punishment, but as a path to clarity. Marcus Aurelius, who had access to every luxury an emperor could possess, wrote in his journal, "If you seek tranquility, do less. Or rather, do what's essential." This wasn't asceticism, it was wisdom. He wasn't trying to remove joy from life. He was trying to remove the noise that steals joy's essence. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that you do not need anything. That your happiness is not tied to whether your phone dings, or whether someone texts back, or whether your meal tastes just right. Imagine the power of being content with less. Not out of lack, but out of choice. That is the Stoic ideal. It is not poverty of the body. It is richness of the soul. Because the one who has mastered his desires can never be blackmailed by the world. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Think about that. A billionaire who constantly needs more is poorer than the man with little who needs nothing. The Stoic teaches you to shift from a mindset of craving to one of sufficiency. To say, what I have is enough. Who I am is enough. I will still strive, but I am not starving inside. To practice this, the Stoics engaged in voluntary discomfort. They would go days eating simple food, wearing plain clothes, sleeping without luxury. Not because they were punishing themselves, but because they were reminding themselves of what they don't need to be okay. Seneca would say, set aside a few days each month to live in poverty, so that when it comes, you will not be afraid. The goal was not to suffer, but to strengthen. To detach from the illusion that you need everything to go perfectly in order to be happy. When you stop being controlled by your desires, something strange happens. You begin to see clearly. You're no longer chasing the next dopamine hit. You're no longer exhausting yourself trying to impress people who don't even know themselves. You start asking different questions. Not, what do I want, but what is right. Not, what feels good, but what leads to strength. Not, how do I get more, but what can I let go of. And suddenly, life becomes lighter. Choices become clearer. Temptations lose their grip. You no longer fall apart because someone cancels plans. You don't spiral when you don't get what you want. You don't build your identity on external pleasures that fade. You walk through life grounded, centered, rooted in something deeper than appetite. That is what the Stoics meant by freedom. But let's be honest, this isn't easy. We are not born Stoics. We are born with cravings, impulses, and a brain that evolves to chase comfort. The world is full of temptations, pleasure, power, praise, possessions. To walk the Stoic path is to swim against the current of modern life, but the reward is worth it, because the Stoic understands that freedom is not about removing all desire. It's about becoming the kind of person who can choose desire wisely. Desire is not the enemy. It's only a problem when it drives the car. You can feel desire and still say no. You can want something and still delay gratification. You can admire beauty without being controlled by lust. You can appreciate comfort without needing it to survive. That is the essence of power. Not never feeling, but never being owned by feeling. True freedom is walking into a store and not needing to buy anything to feel whole. True freedom is being able to sit alone in silence without needing to numb yourself with noise. True freedom is being able to let go of what no longer serves you. Not out of fear, but with calm certainty. When your desires are disciplined, your soul becomes light. You stop dragging chains behind you. You stop being pulled in every direction. You begin to move with intention, not impulse. The Stoics knew that a man who cannot say no is a man who will eventually lose everything. His focus, his character, his peace. But the man who has the courage to say no, to say, not this, not now, not me, that man is free, even if he owns nothing, because what he possesses, no one can take from him. Mastery over himself. So ask yourself, what controls you? What have you convinced yourself you can't live without? What fear lies underneath your desires? And then, slowly, begin to let go. Not recklessly, but consciously. Choose discomfort in small doses. Say no when your impulse says yes. Delay when your craving screams no. Observe your mind without judgment, and train it like a warrior trains his sword, until it serves you, not enslaves you. Because, in the end, the Stoic is not just wise, he is free. Not because the world gave him freedom, but because he reclaimed it from the only place it was ever lost, within